The year 1888, fear gripped London as women in Whitechapel were brutally murdered. The killer, known as Jack the Ripper, left a trail of blood and terror. Poverty and desperation clung to Whitechapel streets. The Ripper's victims, all women, were lost in this underbelly of society. Was he driven by rage, hatred, or madness? Panic gripped Whitechapel. Women feared walking alone. Over a century later, the mystery endures, a chilling reminder of human darkness. For the working class, life was a constant struggle. Factories demanded endless labor, and many turned to alcohol for solace. In Whitechapel, poverty, crime, and despair cast long shadows. Whitechapel in the late 19th century was plagued by poverty, families crammed into tiny, unsanitary rooms. Many residents were recent immigrants desperate for work. Jobs were scarce, wages low, and exploitation rife. Alcoholism was rampant, offering a temporary escape. The police struggled to maintain order in this environment. Whitechapel's dark streets provided the perfect hunting ground for Jack the Ripper. Women, particularly those in prostitution, were the most vulnerable. Each new murder sent shockwaves through the community. Panic gripped Whitechapel as rumors spread. The police increased patrols, but the Ripper remained elusive.
The killer vanished into the fog as quickly as he appeared.
Jack the Ripper's reign of terror is forever etched in memory.
5 women are widely recognized as the canonical victims. Mary Ann Nichols, the first, was discovered with her throat slashed. Annie Chapman, the second, was found with similar mutilations. The press dubbed the unknown assailant Jack the Ripper.
This moniker fueled public fear and fascination.
The murders of Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes marked a terrifying escalation. Stride had her throat slashed, but no other mutilations. Eddowes suffered a fate even more gruesome. The autopsies provided crucial insights into the Ripper's modus operandi. The precision of the throat cuts suggested anatomical knowledge.
The Ripper's ability to kill swiftly and vanish added to his mystique.
The investigation into the Ripper's crimes intensified. The police followed countless leads and questioned hundreds of suspects.
Despite their best efforts, the case remained elusive. The murders exposed the stark realities of poverty and vulnerability. The investigation was complicated by unreliable witness accounts. The identity of Jack the Ripper remains a mystery to this day.
The mystery of Jack the Ripper's identity has captivated investigators for over a century.
The police were inundated with potential leads and suspects. The public offered theories based on hearsay and rumor. The press published sensationalized accounts.
Suspects ranged from impoverished immigrants to prominent figures.
The identity of Jack the Ripper remains hidden in the fog of history.
Walter Sickert, a prominent artist of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, is a name that often surfaces in discussions surrounding the Jack the Ripper case.
Sickert, known for his gritty depictions of London life, including scenes from the music halls and working-class neighborhoods, has been the subject of intense scrutiny, with some theorists positing that his art holds clues to a dark secret.
Proponents of Sickert's involvement in the Ripper murders point to a number of factors, including his fascination with the macabre, evident in some of his paintings, and his alleged knowledge of the Whitechapel area.
Some researchers have drawn parallels between the poses of figures in Sickert's paintings and the positions in which some of the Ripper's victims were found.
Additionally, Sickert's movements during the time of the murders have been scrutinized, with some suggesting that he may have been in Whitechapel when the crimes were committed.
However, the evidence linking Sickert to the Ripper crimes remains largely circumstantial.
While his art undoubtedly explores dark themes and reflects the social undercurrents of his time, there is no concrete proof to suggest that he was directly involved in the murders.
Critics of the Sickert theory argue that the alleged connections between his art and the Ripper crimes are tenuous at best, relying on subjective interpretations and speculation.
Despite the lack of definitive evidence, the theory that Walter Sickert was Jack the Ripper continues to intrigue and spark debate.
The artist's dark and evocative paintings, coupled with the mysteries surrounding his personal life, ensure that his name remains forever linked to one of history's most enduring unsolved cases.
Montague John Druitt, a barrister from a respectable family, emerged as a suspect in the Jack the Ripper case following his untimely death by suicide in December 1888.
Melville McNaughton, Assistant Chief Constable, identified Druitt as a suspect in a memo written in 1894, citing the timing of his suicide and his family's belief in his mental breakdown.
Druitt's suicide, shortly after the last canonical murder, was seen by some as an admission of guilt or a sign of a troubled mind.
However, the evidence against Druitt remains largely speculative.
Without definitive proof, Druitt's involvement in the Whitechapel murders remains a matter of speculation. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant in Whitechapel during the Ripper murders, emerged as a prime suspect.
Kosminski, a barber, suffered from severe mental illness leading to his confinement in asylums.
His name was linked to the Ripper case in the late 19th century, gaining renewed attention later.
Factors contributing to his suspicion include his Whitechapel residence and mental illness.
Eyewitness accounts placed him near one of the murder scenes.
Recent DNA analysis of a shawl allegedly revealed a genetic match to Kosminski.
However, this claim has been met with skepticism.
The true nature of Kosminski's involvement remains a mystery, lost to time and complexities. The passage of time is a relentless force, eroding memories, scattering evidence, and shrouding the past in a veil of mystery. For investigators seeking to solve historical crimes, the challenges are immense.
Witnesses fade into the mists of time, their recollections clouded by the passage of years. Physical evidence, if it survives at all, often degrades, leaving behind tantalizing fragments that whisper of what once was.
Such is the case with Jack the Ripper, whose reign of terror in the autumn of 1888 continues to fascinate and frustrate in equal measure. In the late 19th century, forensic science was in its infancy.
Investigators relied heavily on eyewitness accounts, often unreliable, and rudimentary investigative techniques. Fingerprinting, a revolutionary tool for identifying individuals, was in its early stages of development and not yet widely used in criminal investigations. Blood typing, while known, was not as precise or informative as modern DNA analysis.
Despite the limitations of their time, the police diligently collected and examined what evidence they could gather. They photographed the crime scenes, made plaster casts of footprints found near the victims, and carefully documented the positions of the bodies and any signs of a struggle.
They also collected and analyzed letters sent to the police and newspapers, purportedly written by the Ripper himself, hoping to glean clues from the handwriting or the content of the messages. However, the Ripper, whether through cunning or simply good fortune, managed to evade capture, leaving behind a trail of blood and unanswered questions.
The lack of sophisticated forensic tools, coupled with the challenging conditions of the crimes, often committed in darkness and fog, made it nearly impossible for investigators to definitively link a suspect to the murders.
In the decades since the Whitechapel murders, forensic science has advanced at an astonishing pace. DNA analysis, in particular, has revolutionized criminal investigations, providing a powerful tool for identifying individuals and linking them to crime scenes. The ability to extract and analyze DNA from even the smallest traces of biological material, such as blood, semen, or hair, has breathed new life into countless cold cases, offering hope for justice where it was once thought impossible.
The allure of using DNA technology to solve the mystery of Jack the Ripper has proven irresistible. Over the years, various items of evidence thought to be connected to the case have been subjected to DNA testing, often with much fanfare and media attention. The most famous of these attempts involved a shawl said to have belonged to Catherine Eddowes, which reportedly yielded DNA that allegedly matched that of Aaron Kosminski.
However, the use of DNA evidence in historical cases is not without its challenges and controversies. The passage of time, exposure to the elements, and even contamination from previous handling can degrade DNA, making it difficult to extract and analyze accurately. Furthermore, establishing a clear chain of custody for historical evidence can be nearly impossible, raising doubts about its authenticity and reliability. In the case of the shawl linked to Edos, questions have been raised about its provenance and the methods used to analyze the DNA. Critics argue that the shawl may not even be genuinely connected to the case, and that the DNA results, if accurate, could be explained by contamination from individuals who handled the shawl in the intervening years.
The enduring fascination with Jack the Ripper speaks to our collective desire to make sense of the senseless, to find order in chaos, and to bring closure to the unresolved. The case, with its chilling blend of historical mystery, gruesome violence, and unsolved questions, continues to capture the imagination, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and armchair detective investigations.
Despite the advancements in forensic science and the tireless efforts of both professional and amateur sleuths, the true identity of Jack the Ripper remains elusive. The passage of time, the loss of evidence, and the unreliability of eyewitness accounts have all conspired to keep the Ripper's true face hidden in the fog of history.
Perhaps in a way, the mystery itself is part of what makes the case so compelling. The lack of a definitive answer allows us to speculate, to theorize, and to project our own fears and fascinations onto the blank canvas of the Ripper's identity. It is a case that will likely never be definitively solved, but that will continue to be debated, analyzed, and reimagined for generations to come.
The legacy of Jack the Ripper extends far beyond the cobbled streets of Whitechapel in the autumn of 1888. The case, with its chilling brutality and enduring mystery, has had a profound impact on criminal investigation, forensic science, and the public's fascination with true crime. It serves as a reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the shadows of society and the enduring power of the unknown to captivate and terrify us.
Jack the Ripper, a phantom who vanished into the fog and shadows of Victorian London, left an indelible mark on history. His gruesome crimes in Whitechapel became a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath society.
The Ripper's brief reign of terror cast a long shadow shaping our perceptions of crime and justice. The Whitechapel murders captured the public's imagination like no other crime before. In the aftermath, London and the world were never quite the same. The case forced society to confront poverty, the vulnerability of women, and law enforcement's limitations. The Ripper's crimes exposed Victorian morality's dark underbelly, revealing hypocrisy and inequality.
The story of Jack the Ripper is more than just a tale of unsolved murders. It is a story of fear, societal injustice, and the enduring power of the unknown. The Whitechapel murders exposed the fault lines in Victorian society, revealing the plight of the poor.
The Ripper's victims, often dismissed, were given a voice in death, highlighting the human cost of poverty and inequality.
The Ripper case profoundly impacted criminal investigation and forensic science. The investigation marked a turning point in police approaches to crime.
The Whitechapel murders left an indelible mark on the public's fascination with true crime. The case continues to captivate, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and investigations. The Ripper's enduring appeal lies in the mystery surrounding his identity. The story of Jack the Ripper serves as a reminder of the duality of human nature and the enduring power of the unknown.